So basically a recap on the wood situation. We have this buttstock that came off of the 1880s model. And you can see it has this pretty massive blowout here in the wrist. I was able to pretty easily take out this cup right here. Basically what had happened is this pin right here had broken off, and this pin over here I was able to basically just slide it out. So what I got is I got this cup right here, cleaned it off. The channel for the pin is pretty much, filled in with a pin that's been rusted out and fused in there, so that guy's not coming out. But I plan to basically just epoxy this in to the new buttstock I got, which is this. I got this buttstock from the Martini Henry Society shop. Looks pretty good. Really solid wood. Feels a lot like the one I got from IMA. I don't know if it's the same one, but pretty similar. I'll have to do a little bit of fitting, mainly for the cup right here. And also I'll have to do some fitting here where it fits into the receiver. I also got these butt plate screws from them. They're newly made. So I'll probably be replacing some of the butt plate screws I have with these. I'm not sure which ones yet. I also got these replacement pins. If you recall my other video, the 1870s model did not have either pin in the Forestock. There's another recap. This is the buttstock that came off of the 1870s model. As you can see, it has a split wrist, and this old stock repair fell off. I still have the original piece that came off that I'll just basically glue back in. But I'll be filling this in. I'm using some wood filler to fill this in, and then I'll sand it so it's even. As you can see, when it's split, it's also kind of uneven here. Looks like it rose a bit from the rest of the stock. So in order for this to have a nice smooth curve right here, I'll have to fill this in, and then when I'm done filling it in, I'll have to sand it so it's nice and even in this area. I'll also have to drill this out a little bit. There's some rotted wood in there, and I discovered that when, instead of unscrewing, this butt plate screw basically was pulled out just because it was rotted. And so I have to drill this out a little bit. I'll use a hardwood dowel to fill it in, and I'll be filling in this crack that started to form right here. And then I'll re-drill a hole and put another screw in there. And so I'm probably going to mount this one on the 1880s model. I'll put the new stock on the 1870s model, since the 1870s model appears to be the better shooter based on the condition of the barrel and the lack of pitting compared to the 1880s model. You can just really see here that the difference in the barrels, and a lot more pitting on the 1880s model. So one really good tip with these reproduction stocks is you get a 3/4 inch drill bit, and basically you get your drill and you center this right on the hole that's already dug in there. And what this can do is basically get rid of this extra lip that they come with inside. I believe that's in there because they're fitted for the actual cups, but not the cups with the spring. So when you include the spring, it won't actually fit in there with that lip. And so what this will do is this will drill that lip off, because it's just the right size to fit into that hole that's already drilled. And then once you get that lip off, this thing will actually just slide right into place. And then you can either put a pin through it. In this case, since the hole for the pin is basically sealed up with rusted over, I'm just going to epoxy it in there. But that's always an option for you, basically to get rid of that extra lip in there. It's pretty simple. So their big point of adjustment on one of these reproduction stocks is this area here, which actually slides into the threads for where the stock bolt goes. So the way they're cut is as if this is just a straight connection here, but the way it's really designed is, it kind of tapers upward like this, so it gets a little bigger at the top than it is at the bottom inside of this receiver. So what you need to do is you could either use some sandpaper and just kind of take your time and sand out this top part. But basically you want to get like a 5/8 bit to fit right into the top of it like this. Not all the way through, but just in this top lip here. And that'll actually get a really good fit on your receiver. So I'll show you a good example. So you can see this is the reproduction stock. It now fits very well into the receiver. Before I drilled anything, there was about maybe a 1/4 inch gap between this lip here, the stock, and the receiver itself. Now it's nice and flush. So like I said, you get that 5/8 inch. If you're able to fit that bit just inside of it into where this hole is drilled, you'll be good to go. Always take your time, always be patient. A key thing with the stocks is that you can take wood out, but you can't put wood back in. So just take your time and you'll do fine. If in doubt, you can always just use sandpaper and then constantly test the fit. Now it shouldn't just easily slide in. It should take a little bit of a wiggle to pop in there. You want a nice tight fit here. That way when you put the stock bolt in, this buttstock doesn't wiggle around. So the retaining pin for this rear band here was missing. So I went ahead and I got this brass pin. Basically took a brass rod, cut it to size, and then tapped it in. So it should do really well at keeping the rear band on, while at the same time, unlike steel, it won't corrode in the wood. So this is what I ended up with after filling the crack. Actually filled really nicely. It's nice and smooth. Running my finger over this really follows the contour of the wood. I don't feel the edge here, which is really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain this all to match, and then I'll do some linseed oil over it and see how it turns out. So they are both cleaned up. We'll first take a look at the 1870s model. Really nice buttstock. Like how it turned out. The parts really fit well together. Put some chalk here on the marking. That's what some of that residue is. It's a pretty good mark, 1878 for BSA. Not having the pins in there really preserved the holes for them. Got a little bit of a ding here, but otherwise it's in pretty good shape. There's that replacement pin there. Let's flipping it over. Looks pretty good. Some proof marks there. Overall pretty happy with this one. I think it turned out pretty well. Go ahead and switch over to the 1880s model. Use the buttstock from the 1870s model on it. See, there's a stock repair. Still got a little bit more work to do on it, kind of blending this a little bit, getting this to match the rest of the stock. Just need a little bit more time with a little bit of stain and some more linseed oil. There's that mark, 1889 BSA. A little bit of linseed oil coming out of here. Just gotta wipe it off. Missing the middle band. I'm looking for a replacement. Eventually I'll find one, but they're pretty hard to find right now. Checked all the usual spots, IMA, the Martini Henry Society, Dyson's, so nobody seems to have it right now. Probably just keep an eye on eBay. Go ahead and flip it over. And pretty good for its age and despite its storage conditions. So happy with how they came out. Look forward to more projects. If you like seeing these types of videos, feel free to like and subscribe.